Hi, and welcome to the Health Begins with Mom show. I am Dorit Palvanov, your host. On this podcast, I will share insights and interviews on health, parenting, and explore the question of what does it take to thrive as women, wives, and mothers. Now, let's get going with today's episode. Welcome everybody to another episode of the Health Begins with Mom podcast. This is Dorit Palvanov, your host. Before we get into today's show, I want to remind everybody that I'm hosting another webinar where I'll be teaching you how to have a healthy meal every day, even when you don't have time. I've created 2 time slots for you, one during the day and the other in the evening, and would love to have you join me. This is a free class, and I've created it because you have asked me to. So many moms complain that they don't have the time, they don't feel organized in the kitchen, mealtime is chaotic, children don't sit to eat or eat very slowly, etc., etc. I want to help you feel confident and solid with regards to the food situation in your household. All I ask from you is to come and participate, ask questions, and engage with us. You can find a link to the registration page in the show notes below this episode or on my website, healthbeginswithmom.com/EP-18. Also, you're welcome to join my Facebook community. It is called Busy Moms Get Healthy, and this is where we continue the conversation after the podcast goes live, and this is also where you can get direct access to the guests on the show. We'd love to have you join us. All right. Today on the show, I'm interviewing someone who is very special in my life, and this is my yoga teacher, Rachel Piccolo. Now, I understand that you guys are not all local, and this podcast reaches people all over. However, the intention behind this interview is not to excite you to come to Rachel's classes, although I'd love to see you, but rather to explore the world of yoga, not only as a form of exercise, but as a way of a moving meditation. As mothers, we are so busy, and this busyness sometimes consumes us completely, so much so that we feel depleted, drained, tired, and many times find ourselves miserable and unhappy during the peak of our lives. Raising a family is definitely challenging and difficult, but this is also the season of your life when you will be most productive you'll ever be. I talk a lot about sustainability here on the show, and this is such a crucial component of my own sense of sustainability. Without yoga and the community I've established there, I would not be able to thrive as a woman, wife, and a mother. Another thing I'd like to encourage you to do is explore a yoga studio at a professional yoga studio, not at the gym. There is something extremely calming, soothing, and grounding about a smaller space, fewer lights, and just a meditative atmosphere. Also, I encourage you to connect with the teacher and establish a relationship with her. Rachel is not only my yoga instructor, but also one of my mentors. I love talking to her, listen to her advice, and soak in her wisdom during and after class. Remember, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Pay attention to that. Who are those people? Do they deserve your time and attention? I talk a lot about being intentional and deliberate about your life, about your money, health, and relationships. You do not have time to waste. Be unknowingly intentional with regards to your self-care, and one day your daughter will model you. With that said, let's jump into today's interview with Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dorit. Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you on. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I know we've been trying to arrange the time. So before we jump into today's show and conversation, can you just share with everybody who are you, a mom and a wife to?
Yeah. So I'm a wife and a mom to 2 kids, a boy and a girl, Julian and Sierra, 15 and 12. and I'm a yoga teacher. So
Obviously.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, and what do you love about being a mother?
I love watching these two people grow and become who they are each day, from that little baby to their personalities changing, to this seeing parts of myself and my husband in these two children and seeing how they're also so different. It's an amazing experience. And I love it because, they're part of me and my husband, just an extension of our love. It's beautiful.
I love that. Oh, that's so beautiful. Beautiful. So I want to talk about your journey of how you became a yoga instructor.
Okay.
Can you talk to us? Can you walk us through your journey and why you decided to pursue this as a career?
So after I had my son, my first child, I wanted to do some activity because I felt, it's really hard. You feel very isolated when you're a new mom and you're at home and, you're unsure of what you're doing with this new little baby and you want to have connection with other people. So I did a couple of different things. I started doing like a run club with all the new moms in my area to get people to, get out and meet. Um, and then as well, I started just at a community center going to a yoga class that my friend suggested I go and try out because it would help me sleep better, it would help me with, just stress, any anxiousness. So I started just at a community center by my house. And within the first two experiences of the class, I just fell in love with the whole process because I started feeling just so amazing by the end, especially in your Shavasana, your rest pose, how deeply relaxed I could feel. And I didn't want that to end. So I tried all kinds of different yoga after that. I went to different studios, different places in my area to try out different teachers, different styles. And I really loved the flow type of classes where you're a little bit more active because I felt that really was helpful for me, especially being a new mom. You want to lose a little bit of that baby weight. I felt it gave me everything. It gave me de-stressing. It gave me a little bit of exercise in the process, how to breathe well. Um, so I just decided from that point that I wasn't going to go back to work full time. I knew that I wanted to forget what I was doing. It wasn't going to work out for me. And I thought, what a great thing to do to teach what I love to do and let other moms, other people in my situation experience how great and life altering this could be. So a few years, maybe I was doing it 4 or 5 years, I decided to go and do my teacher training. So I researched different places in Toronto and word of mouth, talked to people that I knew what to be a reputable studio to get trained. And I was off to do that. And rest is history then.
Rachel, and I
Yeah.
said that in the intro, you are such a great teacher. And I'm so lucky to have you as my instructor. And thank goodness you did what you did.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
So, women who are listening to this show are
Mm-hmm.
moms mostly who are, just learning about health and wellness. And on this show, I talk a lot about sustainability and bringing the message of health into our homes in a
Mm-hmm.
practical but also realistic manner.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this because I see a lot of women, and me included, who have tried many forms of harsh workouts, which were too much and eventually led us to quitting it. So, can we talk about yoga as an exercise and why you think this is a good form of exercise for moms, starting from pregnancy all the way to post-birth and afterwards as well?
Okay. So, well, I teach prenatal yoga as well. And what's beautiful about yoga is it's accessible to everyone and especially pregnant ladies because it'll help you with the birthing process. It helps prepare your body mentally, physically, emotionally for this journey that you're going to go through ahead. in labor. Afterwards, it's great to do because, again, it's gentle enough that you can go into doing it after you've been cleared after your 6 weeks from the doctor having your baby, that you can start your exercise regime. It's not so demanding like going to the gym, where what happens when you do really crazy workouts is that you stress your nervous system out. The nervous system having, the sympathetic nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system. Your fight and flight response is stimulated when you're doing high activity workouts. Whereas yoga, you're doing something that's still strengthening, empowering, stabilizing to your muscles, but it's also relaxing in the same moment that you're doing it. So you're breathing, it's touching upon a lot more than just, doing those bicep curls, doing your crunches. It's mind, body, spirit. And you can't get that from doing exercises in the gym. You don't have that community that you get when you go to a yoga class, and we're all on the same mindset of being healthy, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. And I think that's what women really need. We're very drained, we're depleted because we're always giving, we're very nurturing by nature, we're giving to our family, and we need to give to ourselves. And I think yoga gives you that more than any other type of exercise. And like I've said, from before, I've always done activity. I still do different types of activity, not just yoga. You need a balance. But knowing that I will hold on to this forever. Like, this will be something I can grow old and do. You can change your yoga practice to be whatever it is that you need it to be at that time. If you have an injury, you can still do yoga and move around that injury. If you just need to be very relaxed one day, you could do a restorative practice. If you have more energy, you can do a more highly active type of practice. So there's so many options that you can sustain this for a long term.
I love that. And one more thing that I will throw in there, just as from a user experience.
Yeah.
For me, I've always heard about meditation and how, the benefits of it, but I just don't seem to have the time to do it, or maybe even the habit. And, like you said, it combines this body and mind and spirit all at once. It just gives you this opportunity to just be quiet and still. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, still, get your body moving and still get a good workout. So thank you for that. And I hear you and other yoga instructors say all the time to take the mat to your life. Can you talk a little bit about what does it mean? What is it that we women and moms are learning on the yoga mat that we need to take to our daily lives?
Well, taking time, first of all, for ourselves is really important. And even if it's just that 5 minutes that you just sit or sit somewhere in your day, that you just connect to your breathing, check in with how you're feeling in the day, that you're taking care of yourself. You're taking that with you, not just on the mat, but in life itself. Like, even when you're driving in the car, just check in, like we do as soon as we come onto our mat. What else?
I can say for me, it was resilience, consistency. Every time, when yoga instructors say, set your intention, it's sort of like, makes you really think, it's sort of like you're taking your entire workout with you throughout the entire day. So,
and what's another thing that for me personally, that has really, really helped me in my life is learning patience, especially with children. And to me, that is so much my intention many, many times in my practice, in my day. It's taught me to step back, take a deep breath, have patience. And I'm teaching that especially my daughter. I guess it's especially, it's the girls I see more than with my son, who have that personality that, we're overachievers. We want to do so much. We are, people pleasing. She's a perfectionist. She puts a lot of pressure on herself. And as women, I think we put a lot of pressure in so many ways. And I can see it happening already with her at 12, and how it could actually, get worse if we don't teach them these things from when they're young. So that's what it's taught me. It's taught me to take this into my life, bring it to my children, help me in my relationships. So it's not just, again, that physical activity. It's just even those, like you said, that intention that I set in the beginning of my practice. I take that intention with me through the day, through the people that I talk to. I remember that intention as I, move on.
Yeah. So I love to talk about emotional healing, as you know, and in
Yeah.
particular, regulating our emotions. And I personally learned so much about my own emotions from your yoga classes and other instructors. Can you talk a little bit about how practicing yoga can help mothers regulate their own emotions and in turn teach their children to do this as well?
Well, the best way to have regulation of emotions is to just really acknowledge what your emotions are. And that's what the practice of yoga does. Those moments of quiet when you're with yourself and you're having this relationship that you're creating with you, that primary relationship that you have is with yourself. And when you're acknowledging what you're feeling from moment to moment in every experience, in your poses, maybe in the day with people that you're around, when you notice how you emotionally react to things and what sets you off, you're able to regulate a little bit better when you're in a state of calm and relaxation. And if you're highly stressed, it's really hard to regulate your emotions. They're more on a roller coaster. So I find that when you're practicing yoga, it helps you to be just a better person overall, because you have that really intuitive knowledge of how you feel, what's different from day to day. Um, and from that, I guess, intuition and acknowledgement of what you're feeling, you're able to regulate more.
Right, right. Oh, I love to hear you talk. Okay, so I have 4 questions that I ask all of my guests. And the first one is the show is all about inspiring moms to thrive as women and mothers. And I like to call it being a goddess, showing up as a goddess in your life. And I'm curious to know, how are you being a goddess in your own life? How do you take care of yourself, your soul, your body? What are some of your non-negotiables other than doing yoga?
Well, starting yoga helped me to dabble more into meditation. So we start a class just a few minutes of meditation, but then I took it further and I practice at home. So I'll do meditation. If it's not just in the morning, I'll find a time when I have that time in the day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, wherever I can fit in on a day, I will make sure I meditate. I take walks a few times a week in nature, and I make sure that it's very quiet and it's very therapeutic to me. I take my Epsom salt and baking soda baths, so it's very detoxing to the system. I put in, of course, good things into my body. I do juicing of healthy things. I pack snacks for myself that are healthy. So I'm not just doing this for my kids, I'm doing this for myself too. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I try to make sure I get as much sleep as I can. So I'm pretty good. I mean, I get at least 7 or more, um, making sure that I'm doing all the things that I'm saying to my students and to other people, to my children, that I'm being that role model and I'm doing those things, because I just feel much better when I take care of myself, and I feel more strong, and I feel better as a mom, I feel better as a wife, and I feel better as a teacher, that I'm going in there and I'm being authentic and true to what I'm actually saying to people. It's what I practice. And of course, I work out. I do 2 times a week. I do weights and other type of activities, rowing or whatever else I can fit in. I will do a little bit more than just my yoga practice, just to keep up a different element of physical fitness. Yeah.
Mm. And what advice does your now mommy self would have given to your pre-mommy self?
Not to take everything so seriously.
Yes.
I find that, before children, I was just more of a worry wart. I worried about everything. I was really anxious, and as a new mom too. And then, as you have your second one, you get a little bit more easier on yourself. You get a little bit, you're just very laid back with the second child, and with experience, you change. You just learn about yourself more. You don't care so much what people think about you anymore. It's all about, taking care of yourself, and what matters to you is what counts the most. And I think, those things, just taking it easy, smiling, finding more laughter, not worrying about what other people think. Those things to me are what I would have told my old self more.
Mm. Very hard to do.
Yep. Yep. Still a work in progress.
Right. So I like to keep it real and show listeners that even though someone is an expert in one area, they might be struggling with other things. So what are some of your current challenges as a woman, wife, or mother?
Well, it goes really into all facets of my life, but I think, and my issue, always feeling that I am enough.
Welcome to womanhood.
Yeah. I feel like, am I doing enough as a mom? Am I giving enough love? Am I giving enough attention? Am I doing that for my husband as well? And as a teacher, am I doing enough for my students? And it's always, am I enough? I'm enough, and I'm worthy. Those are always the issues that I struggle with, and I have to work on and heal within myself, and try to really understand, where did this feeling really originate from. So this is my process right now that I've been working through, and really what I'm really noticing about myself as I'm getting older. That's really my issues that I need to focus on. So we all have stuff.
Of
It
course.
doesn't matter who you are, what profession you're in. We all have things that we carry, that we embody in our lives, in ourself, that we need to work through.
Right, right. Rachel, any last advice for new mommies?
Let yourself have support from others. Because I found, again, when I was a new mom, I wanted to do everything on my own. I wanted to, not ask for help. I wanted to make sure I had those dinners done. House was always spotless. My children were always eating everything homemade. And sometimes, you just have to give, again, yourself some slack. Not to be a perfectionist, not to try to be an overachiever. Just, again, relax. Be okay with that you are enough, and that is enough. And again, it comes back to that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can share some of my own, because I think as women, we all struggle with that, feeling not good enough. And for myself, like, I'm trying to work on this, rewiring my own brain right now. So instead of thinking in terms of like, oh, I have to do it perfect, or I have to do it this way, or even in terms of like, controlling things, all I say to myself, and I literally use that language, oh, that's good enough. That's good enough. I do whatever. I wash the floors, or I sweep the floor. I'm like, oh, it's good enough. Fine, it's good enough for me.
I know, you're right. And you see, even our language is dictating how we're feeling.
So true.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So before I let you go, can you share for people who are local to Richmond Hill and Thornhill in Ontario, can you share where you're teaching? Where can people get more of you?
Well, I at Indiglow Yoga Studio at Bathurst and Elgin Mills is one studio. I teach at Hot Yoga Wellness, which is at Leslie and 16th. I teach at Coach J Fitness in Thornhill on Center Street. And I'm also teaching privately quite a few different students who just want, I guess, more one-on-one attention. And I do that as well. So I go to people's homes when I have a relationship with a student and I know them well enough. I will, take myself to their house so that it's convenient for them and work with whatever their needs are at that time. So yeah, that's about it for right now, which I think is pretty good.
It's good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough, right?
Yeah, Rachel, I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I think I met you when I was right before I got pregnant with my third baby. And I rarely miss a class. I think I'm pretty good in terms of attending classes. And one of the reasons why I do is because of your energy. Like, you're such a big part of why I am consistent. And this is one of the things that is so hard for me. I quit things pretty easily. And I really want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for the energy, for everything you are doing. And every class is different and amazing. And it's as though this is exactly what I need at that, in that day. And I think all women, we all say the same. Thank you for listening to the Health Begins with Mom show. I love hearing from you, so please post your comments and questions over at healthbeginswithmom.com/podcast. If you love the show, please share it on social media and in your real life with other moms who might enjoy this content. And if you have a burning question or topic you'd like me to hit on the show, just drop me a line at dorit@healthbeginswithmom.com. And if you love this show and really want to support it, please go to iTunes, write a review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Much love and many blessings.